Today, we'll be explaining all founding titans in Attack on Titan. There are some very interesting titans to cover, and we will cover all of them, starting with the girl who brought the era of the titans into the world, Ymir Fritz. Ymir was the first person to obtain the powers of the titans. She was the first ever founding titan, therefore, she was named Ymir the Founder. She has a very sad and interesting past, and to better understand her powers, we'll have to go through her story first. Around 2,000 years ago, Ymir's village was attacked and enslaved by the Eldians, who also murdered her parents. One night, Ymir opened the gate to a pen, allowing for some pigs to escape. Later, the Eldian ruler, Karl Fritz, questioned the slaves on the culprit. The slaves pointed to Ymir, who was released only to be hunted down for sport. Wounded and exhausted, Ymir found an unusually large tree with a chasm at its base. Seeking shelter, she stepped inside and fell down into a pool of liquid. There, a mysterious spine-like creature fused with her and turned her into the first Titan. With her newfound power, Ymir returned to serve Fritz and used her Titan to cultivate land, build bridges, and amass wealth for the Eldians. Under his command, she also destroyed the armies of Eldian's rival, Marley. To reward Ymir for her service, Fritz took her as his concubine. And not long after, they had 3 children, Maria, Rose, and Sheena. During this time, Ymir grew to genuinely love and care for Fritz, despite his behavior and attitude towards her. 13 years after acquiring the power of the Titans, Ymir died while thwarting an assassination attempt on Fritz, but then found herself in a mysterious, barren land. King Fritz then forced his daughters to eat their mother's remains in an attempt to preserve the power of the Titans. He commanded his daughters to continuously reproduce, to have their children eat their spines upon their deaths, and perpetuate this ritual from child to child so that Ymir's blood would not die out and Eldia could rule the world forever with its Titans. Ymir's power was divided into 9 Titans, and she continued to serve her descendants, building them Titans whenever they invoked the power of the Titans. But how powerful was Ymir actually? Well, Ymir was the very first Titan, and the only one to ever possess the complete power of the Titans. All who come after her merely possess fragments of her power. Her Titan body was immense, even by Titan standards. Using her immense strength, she could effortlessly wipe out Marley's forces. It is said that nobody can surpass Ymir, and that because Ymir died 13 years after awakening her powers, no one with the Titan powers is allowed to live beyond that. This phenomenon is known as the Curse of Ymir. After Ymir's death, her spirit lived on in a world where the Coordinate resides. She is responsible for all Titan transformations throughout history. Whenever the power of the Titans is invoked, she builds the Titan bodies out of the otherworldly sand. She is also responsible for regeneration and resculpted Zeke's body after he was blown up. It takes Ymir a very long time to create these bodies. Zeke says it took her years to build him a single human body. But because the world she lives in transcends time, the process was almost an instant in the physical world. According to Zeke, Ymir can create anything, even chains that represent the vow of renouncing war. Ymir is also the source of the Founding Titan's power. From controlling other Titans, to creating walled Titans, to altering the bodies of the subjects of Ymir, all of the Founding Titan's feats are done by Ymir after she is given the order, either by a scream or in person through the worlds where Ymir resides. However, because Ymir was Fritz's slave, she only listens to the commands of the royal family. Thus, only the royal family can use the Founder's power. Stay tuned, we still have many interesting Titans to cover. Karl Fritz. The next one on our list is Karl Fritz, also known as the King of the Walls. He was the 145th king of Eldia, and was the one responsible for its downfall. Over a century before the main story began, Karl Fritz was crowned king and inherited the power of the Founding Titan. For many hundreds of years, various families subservient to the Fritz family were constantly at war with each other for control over the 8 Titans. A civil war which Karl Fritz was ashamed of. Rather than following the method of his ancestors and using the Founding Titan to maintain order in the nation of Eldia, King Fritz conspired with the Tybur family, keepers of the Warhammer Titan. Fritz and the Tyburs fabricated the hero of Marley, whose name was Helios. While the world was led to believe that Helios started the Eldian Civil War, King Fritz moved the capital of Eldia to Paradise Island. While war raged on the mainland, King Fritz used the power of the Founding Titans to place countless colossal Titans in the construction of 3 walls, Maria, Rose, and Sheena, around the last remaining territory of Eldia, in which the subjects of Ymir could finally live in true peace. With the people of Eldia gathered within the walls, Karl Fritz used his power again to alter the memories of all the subjects of Ymir, erasing all knowledge about the world outside of the walls. In order to protect the royal family, King Fritz renamed the royal family to the Rhys family, who would live in hiding as nobles, while a different bloodline would take the Fritz name. As Founding Titan, Karl Fritz had many abilities. As we already mentioned, his most powerful ability was creating an endless army of colossal Titans that could destroy the entire world beyond the walls. But apart from his power to create Titans, he was also able to pass down his memories to an unknown member of the Rhys family after death. However, they and all their heirs also inherited his belief that a world ruled by Titans would be true peace. This influence is so strong that even people that wanted to stop the Titans changed their minds when they received the power, deciding not to make a move and refusing to reveal the reason, even to their own families. Yeagerists. Uri was the younger brother of Rod-Rhys, as their father was the inheritor of the Founding Titan. Uri and Rod pleaded with him to free humanity from their tyranny, but he always refused to do so, or wouldn't explain why he wouldn't. Sometime later, Uri volunteered to be the next Founding Titan, with the full intention to use it to stop the Titans. However, after he inherited the power of the Titans and memories of the world from their father, Rod could tell by his eyes that he had inherited that same ideology, just like his father and all other kings before them. Uri refused to stop the Titans and tell everyone the lost memories of mankind. Sometime later, Kenny Ackerman discovered that Uri was the true king, tracked him down, and tried to kill him. However, he was stopped by Uri, who caught him with his Titan's hand. Kenny did not give up after this, even throwing a knife at Uri and pointing his gun at him. However, even after this, Uri spared his life. Uri, with the knife still stuck in his arm, bowed before Kenny and apologized because of the prosecution of his family and his frustrated attempt to create a paradise within the walls. This heavily surprised Kenny, who wondered how a powerful being like him could bow before someone like himself. From that point on, Kenny was not only his bodyguard, but also a close friend, and Uri ceased the attacks on the Ackerman bloodline. Because of his royal blood, Uri had the full abilities of the Founding Titan and could manipulate the memories of the subjects of Ymir. Rod calls this the invincible power. Freda Rhys. Freda Rhys was Rod-Rhys' eldest daughter and Historia's half-sister. She was the true queen of the walls, and she inherited her power from previously mentioned Uri. She was present with the Rhys family the night Grisha Yeager raided the Rhys chapel. She listened as Grisha pleaded with the Rhys family to protect them against the Titan invasion, following the fall of Wall Maria. For a moment, Freda appears willing to agree to Grisha's request, but then she seems to be forced to change her mind due to the First King's will. She then argues with Grisha from the First King's position, stating that humanity within the wall must perish to protect mankind beyond them. She attempts to deter Grisha by stating that even if he takes the Founder from her, he can't wield its power. Already aware of this, Grisha shares with Freda his own Titan's ability to see its future inheritor's memories. He tells Freda that in the future set out for them, he will eat the Founder and end the royal bloodline, but hesitates due to his reservations in killing children. Freda's family urges her to kill Grisha while he is vulnerable. However, Grisha resolves to transform before this is possible. Freda transforms into the Founding Titan and battles Grisha's Attack Titan. She was eventually defeated by Grisha and eaten by him, thus gaining her powers and memories. Grisha then proceeded to slaughter her mother and siblings, with only her father escaping the massacre. Grisha Yeager. For the longest time, Grisha was a mysterious character to all of us. In the early seasons, we knew nothing about him, but after learning about his past, we finally understood how important he was for the entire AOT story. As an Eldian living in Marley, he followed his father's footsteps and became a doctor. He lived in the Liberio internment zone and later joined Eldian restorationists. After being betrayed by his own son, he was sent to Paradise Island along with his wife to be turned into pure Titans. Fortunately for him, he was saved by the Owl, the secret leader of Eldian restorationists. The Owl chose him as the successor of the Attack Titan and entrusted him with the mission to save the Eldian Empire by going into the walls and stealing the Founding Titan. Grisha spent years inside the walls working as a doctor, treating the noble families, and looking for information about the royal family. He even started his own family and had a son named Aaron, who he named after the owl. After years of searching, he finally found the Rhys Chapel and faced the royal family. Not long after, he killed Freda and obtained the Founding Titan. Even though he possessed the Founding Titan, he couldn't use its abilities, as he didn't have royal blood. We never saw him in his Founding Titan form, as he passed it on to Aaron right after. But since he had no royal blood, he would probably look the same in his Founding Titan form as he did in his Attack Titan form. Aaron Yeager. With the power of the Founding Titan that Grisha stole from the Rhys family, Aaron possessed the Founding Titan abilities, but was unable to use them. The first time that Aaron managed to use the Founder's power was completely by accident. He touched the palm of Dina Fritz's Titan, causing all the nearby Titans to attack and devour her, and setting the same Titans upon Bertolt and Reiner. By possessing the powers of the Founding Titan, Aaron made himself a target for the whole country of Marley, their main goal being to capture him alive. It was a while later, when he met Ymir the Founder for the first time, that he was able to access the full powers of the Founding Titan. He convinced Ymir to lend him her power, and with the new abilities he inherited, he released all the Colossal Titans that were inside the walls, starting the so-called Rumbling. By fully utilizing the powers of the Founder, he was able to telepathically communicate with all of the subjects of Ymir, declaring war against the whole world. Aaron's Founding Titan was drastically different than Ymir Fritz's Founding Titan, or any other Titan that we've seen so far. His founding Titan form was absolutely massive. He was without a doubt the biggest Titan that ever existed. It looked like it was made completely out of bones. It was one giant ribcage with no flesh. The only part of his Titan that had flesh is his head, although it was significantly deformed. Inside the Titan, Eren's head was disconnected from his torso, having been decapitated and rejoined by Ymir's power. He moved with the help of his ribcage that was spread all the way to the ground. It was fast enough to keep with the marching Colossal Titans. One of the most important and unique abilities that Eren possessed, and that we haven't seen so far in the show, was summoning. He was able to summon all previous Titan users in their Titan forms, brainwashing them into fighting against Survey Corps and Marley on his behalf. During chapters 135 to 138, we could see many past Titan shifters like Bertolt, Porco, Grisha, and even Tom Xavier. Additionally, we could also see a lot of Titan shifters that were never shown in the show before. It's safe to say that besides Ymir, Eren was the strongest Titan in the entire story, with the ability to destroy the entire world if he wanted to. But instead, he chose not to, giving humanity a chance to fight back. Click on this video, where we explain all the things you missed in Attack on Titan. Go on, click it!